good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Thank you very much for joining us today. It is with great pleasure and sincere gratitude that I warmly welcome you all to day two of the A Walk Through Education Annual Global Virtual Conference 2026. Yesterday, day one was truly impactful as we explored powerful ideas, practical strategies, and innovative perspectives on our conference theme, Teaching in the Age of Intelligence, Empowering Educators with AI and EdTech for Future-Ready Classrooms. We were inspired by our remarkable speakers who shared valuable insights on AI literacy, assessment, ethical leadership, future classrooms, financial literacy, EdTech tools, and the importance of keeping humanity at the center of education. Today, we continue this important journey with our panel conference session, a space for deeper conversation, shared reflection, and collaborative problem solving. This session gives us the opportunity to move beyond presentation into meaningful dialogue, where diverse voices and global perspectives can come together to shape the future of teaching and learning. So as educators, leaders, and change makers, we understand that the future of education requires more than adaptation. It requires intentional actions, innovation, partnership, and courage. Today's discussion will help us reflect on how we can practically apply these ideas in our schools, institutions, and communities. I encourage everyone joining us today to participate actively, ask questions, share your experiences, and connect with fellow educators across borders. Your voices matters, and your perspective contributes to this global movement. So on behalf of A Walk Through Education, I sincerely appreciate every speaker, every panelist, every participant and supporter for being part of this vision. At this point, it's my honor and privilege to officially declare day two of the A Walk Through Education Annual Global Virtual Conference 2026 open. Once again, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to another enriching session. Welcome to day two. Thank you all. And I want to call on Dr. David to give us his speech before we move over to the panel session. The floor is yours, Dr. David Greenfield. Over to you. You're muted, sir. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. In this case, I'd have to say or correct that the chair is mine because I'm sitting and not standing. Although which is funny because when I present, I actually like to stand because I walk around and move a lot. But here I'm kind of like, I have to sit. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Oh, good afternoon, good evening, good day to us all. I'm happy to be here for a second time and be able to speak with you all, and more importantly, to be able to listen and hear you all as you teach us and express your thoughts and feelings and experiences in education. After yesterday evening, I was kind of laying on my couch staring at the ceiling and thinking about some of the things that were discussed and some of the ideas that it inspired in my own head. One of the first things that came to mind was a presentation. It might have been the last presentation. A gentleman spoke about AI, the steps of AI, and how to teach it. And I thought that was really, really important. People can't do AI or use AI if they don't know how to really use it and how to program it and what the steps are. And I was thinking that I would put that as a requirement in schools these days, a requirement like such as reading and writing, math, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, because I'm a big supporter and advocate for arts and math, so that the students at least are exposed to it. For those that are going to use it, they're going to use it. For those that don't, they will understand and will be able to communicate with the people that are using it. Not everybody's going to be adept at every discipline, but you have to at least understand the language and what it does. In collaborations I have been involved with in the past, where I've worked with artists and dancers and computer engineers, I have found myself as the middle person and communicating and translating from one group to the next so that they can really collaborate in a have a more collaborative, a fuller collaborative relationship, and really develop the ideas that they want to do by working together. But they can't do that if they don't speak at least a very basic language that they can both understand. So I'm able to translate that. And I think in AI, as we move forward with AI, we really need to make sure everybody understands the basics of it, the rudimentary. And one of the reasons I say um, it should be included as part of the curriculum is that in my years of experience in working with um, educational technology, technologies come and then they get replaced or they get modified, um, and sometimes they get tossed out. So the idea is learning how to work, how to learn technology and learn with technology and be able to adapt the methods of learning with all new technologies that come out, because we have no idea what AI is not the end. We have no idea what's going to come after it. And that's the way it's always been. Um, in the early days of interactive multimedia, nobody would have dreamed about the kind of things that we see today and where that came from gaming, from people trying to just create a tool for true interactive education and communication, where if you're talking about music, you can hear it. If you're speaking about art, you can see it. If you're talking about engineering, you can see it and then build it. These are fabulous tools for learning, for education, but they are only the tools. Something that my friend and colleague Dwight McBride said yesterday, after his showing his film, was he pointed out that in one of the classrooms, a student bent over or the teacher bent over and picked up a pencil. A pencil or a pen is still really the most one of the most important tools that we can have. It doesn't require electricity. It doesn't require power. It only requires our imagination of what we do with it, whether we're going to write something, draw something, write a note to somebody. It's a really, really important tool, and I can't stress it. Um, when there's a power outage, we have no computers. Um, when we sometimes we don't even have mobile communication because of communication towers. Um, we don't know how long that will last. Here, even in America, the land of everything, I've worked in communities um, where there has been um, power shortages and teachers can't do anything with it. It's bad enough they have old, outdated computers, but they can't do anything with it. So we have to have every tool available that exists at our fingertips and know how to utilize it in an instant. Another thing I thought about when I looked out at everybody and listen to everybody, that the most important tool that we all have and what we all share is ourselves and our passion for educating, our passion for working with learners, our desire to improve their lives, our lives, and the world. And it doesn't matter what you teach, and it doesn't matter, there is no panacea in terms of how we teach. Um, Everybody has their way of doing it. Everybody, if you listen to music and listen to five different guitarists, everybody can play the same song, but everybody's going to play it a little different based upon how they learned it, what they learned, how they move their fingers. It's the same thing in the classroom. I can think of the teachers, the good teachers I had, the teachers whose teaching I still remember even after 40, 50 years, which is really scary for me to say, but I will say it anyway. But people that I remember being inspired in the classroom and things that the teacher said or taught that will come up today at this age and still inspire and teach me. I have art teachers that I had classes with in 1980, and they taught me, and I've been painting for 50 years and exhibiting for a lot of that time. Um, and I still learn from things that they said. I'll be stuck and I'll think, oh yeah. And I know that's the same thing in the sciences. I know it's the same thing in everything. Even the greatest will remember a lesson that they had once long ago. And part of that lesson is learned through the teachers, the people that inspired them and uh, stimulated them and struck their imagination to learn. When you listen to greats like when Carl Sagan talks about the cosmos, you know, great scientists are still inspired by what he had to say. And so it's something that we all share, and everybody's going to be different in how in their approach and what they do. And that difference is caused by their individual traits and interests. It's going to be affected by the culture they're from, their communities, their languages. And this is not to say anyone is better than anyone else. My work is done primarily in English. Sometimes I teach in Hebrew, but I teach with the same kind of um, passion about the things that I'm passionate about, which is art, collaboration, peace, the things that bring people together. So when you're teaching, know that where you're from impacts the way that you teach. And you can use that for the benefit of the students, for the benefit of your fellow teachers, and for the benefit of everybody. So that was really the prime takeaway that I received yesterday, which is looking at all of you from now I'm looking at Peru, Greece, the Philippines, India, Nigeria, um, just the names across my screen and thinking everybody is coming from a different culture and everybody has different music and everybody has different food and everybody has a different language, but we're all in it together and we're all inspiring. And it's that inspiration that guides us through a walk through education. That as we take it out into the classroom, you know, you're going to think, oh, I remember something that Raina said. You know, Raina is really big about making sure that we have assessments and understand what's going on. And I will remember that, and I will think of her, and I won't have her language, but I will remember her passion and her knowledge and her stress in doing it. So as we listen to the different speakers today, think of that. You know, think of what they're saying, and know it's not a panacea, but an inspiration. It's a key to unlocking the doors of imagination and learning to all of our students. And that's what I have to say today. And I welcome all of you and thank you for letting me, for giving me the honor to speak to you like this. This is kind of what my interest is in educational theory and how we can apply it. And you all are applying it, and I'm grateful to be part of this organization and this community. So have a great day, enjoy, learn, have fun, and see you later. David Greenfield signing out.
That was awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. David, for that opening remarks that you've just given to us. Is really awesome. Thank you very much for always sharing your experiences with us. We appreciate. Thank you. And thank you once again, everyone, for joining us as we begin our panel conference session for day 2 of the Walk Through Education Global Virtual Conference 2026. It is now my great honor and pleasure to introduce our first panelist for today, Professor Sam Thomas. Permit me to read his bio. Professor Sam Thomas is a respected social innovator, inspiring public speaker, and management faculty at American University of Sharjah. He is widely known for his commitment to leadership development, innovation, and empowering individuals through education and meaningful social impact. Through his work, he continues to inspire educators, students, and leaders to think beyond limitations, embrace transformation, and lead with purpose in a rapidly changing world. Today, we are privileged to have him share his thoughts on this important question. Professor Sam, you're welcome. Are you ready for the question?
Yes, I
Okay.
am ready.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. And my question for you today is, how can educational leaders ensure that AI adoption in schools promotes creativity, critical thinking, and human connection rather than dependency? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm good to be here. As Dr. Rania mentioned, and I may have seen in my profile, it may show Dubai. I was in Dubai yesterday. I flew into India, South India. I'm in India now. And I've spent most of my life in the US studying and teaching and doing business. It's good to be here with you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to join yesterday, but so I'm sure some of the things I will mention, I'm sure it's been mentioned already, but I take the risk of that. And I'll make it personal as what AI has done in my teaching experience in the last few years, primarily in UAE. Started out in Dubai, the UK University in Dubai about 3 years ago is when we first faculty started dealing with AI produced student essays and work, which is the universities, administrations didn't know how to react to. Some of you can relate to that. Then in this semester at American University of Sharjah is when I finally felt comfortable or accepting the fact, and myself and my colleagues, to accept the fact that most of the students are using this tool, how we as educators, how we come to terms with that. And there are a lot of ways to do that. And that's what I like to focus on. I'll start with the technology should never be, again, as the professor in the speech mentioned, it will continue to evolve. It has a lot of holes. It's not a perfect tool. However, the LLMs, as it gets smarter and advanced, who knows what's ahead. But what we have right now in front of us is what we have to deal with, which is an incredible tool. I'll give you a scenario. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I had to create an exam for students for business class. This is an undergrad intro class. So therefore, a lot of MCQs and essays. Usually it'll take me, when I did the midterm, it took me 4 hours plus to go through each chapter and find the questions, even from the publisher's archives. But now that we have the permission to use AI as a teacher perspective, it took me less than 15 minutes to put together 40 MCQs and 2 essays of high quality, which is pulled from our own lectures and the decks that we uploaded in the file. So we get to choose. Again, I'm sure many of you are using it already. Forgive me for repeating if that's the case. But to me, it just blew me away. It has given me a quality of life. And then now I can focus that remainder of time and doing other things in the academia, research and other things. I just went through the MCQs to make sure, or the essay questions to make sure it was the right difficulty or it didn't have any mistakes in there. That was, all of a sudden I could sleep 6 hours plus in a finals week. Many of us, most of us, I'm sure can relate to that. So in a nutshell, here's where we are. We're still discovering, it's evolving. So the conduct from the student's perspective, and definitely from the student's perspective and teachers, we're all learning as we go. couple more points I'll mention, then I'll stop, then I'll be open up for any additional questions you may have, which is, there are things we can put in place. A couple of things that I have done in my classes. Accept the fact, if you leave most students to their means, they have so many deadlines. They have different classes, and they most likely will resort to a last-minute product by AI, that whatever the tool happened to be, ChatGPT or any other countless tools out there. So knowing that, how we put in breaks in system or transparency models in place while we encourage creativity and asking the right questions to get the responses, and how do we make the traditional learning or curiosity or critical thinking or group collaboration, these things happen or continue to take place? Well, we just have to do it. We have to set aside, when we create the rubrics and expectations up front, we have to accept the fact it's going to happen. If you don't put the systems in place, then we have to have systems there to do cold sessions where students are called to, you give them a topic, they do collaborative sessions, and they're almost have to talk to team members and get to know a team member, then come up with their own researches, individual AI-infused research, then present it together. And it seems to have worked magic in my intro class. Then I teach entrepreneurship classes for seniors, and they don't use as much for business plan creation, pitch deck creation, maybe some forecasting, financial forecasting, they use it. But intro to business class was a challenge, but by the end of the semester, I can see it being an added tool instead of being the whole thing. The only thing they're using on.
Hello, is it coming from me? I can't hear anything.
Yes, it's
Odd technology.
Okay, I think yeah, I think his network.
It's from him.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's the network. He's having some
he's
network.
in India, and now he's in India.
Okay, yeah, okay. I see. And he might not be aware, because I can see that he's still speaking. He's still speaking. All right. While we wait for him to join back, does anybody have any question or any contribution towards
Yes, Dr.
what he has
Gloria.
said so far? All right. Dr.
I
Rania,
want to
over to
say
you.
something about Dubai, because recently I was reading that Dubai has very actively embraced AI in higher education. I mean, not only in a vague way, they have actually a national system-wide strategy. System strategy which is aligned with future workforce. So they have a national strategy, which is a called Strategy for Artificial Intelligence 2031. And also they have specialized AI universities and programs. They have integrated completely AI into teaching and learning. There's a strong link between K-12 and higher education. There are partnerships with interesting global tech companies, which is not happening in other countries. So Microsoft AI, for example, is training thousands of students there. And also AI, that's about inclusive higher education, because Dubai uses AI to improve centers of assistive technologies for, to improve access to tools that enable equal participation in university learning. So Dubai is actually not just adopted AI in higher education, they have systematically embedded it through national policy. It's very important. Specialized universities, they have curriculum reform, they have industry partnerships, inclusive technologies. So all this together, not one, it's sufficient, but all together bring the result where we have a model and higher education is tightly connected to future workforce needs and digital transformation. I think this is amazing about Dubai.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. And looking at what they do now, it looks as if most countries are really backward because they are really, I think Dubai and the USA, China as well, because China is really moving forward in terms of AI and technology. So these countries, well, I would say that our countries like Nigeria, we're still backward, but hopefully, yeah,
Our country too. We just signed a contract recently with OpenAI. So our ministry gave free access to ChatGPT Edu for higher education. This is free. And also recently with another company, with Microsoft, I think it was for senior high school. They gave us access to many tools and also for foreign language teachers, etc. So now we're starting and also training. The ministry covers expenses for the training of teachers, thousands of teachers on this. So this is the first step that we're taking. But I mentioned before the difference with Dubai is that they linked it to future workforce. They linked it with partnerships, they linked it with specialized universities. Everything is there systematically. There is a strategy, national policy, and only the combination of all these factors could bring the result that we want.
wow, that's awesome. Thank you, Dr. Rania. And I can see that, he's no longer here. All right, so I'm just going to conclude his presentation. When he comes back, we can give him the opportunity to conclude. So, okay, I think we should move over to another person. When he comes back, he continues. So over to you, Dr. Rania.
Thank you, Dr. Gloria. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this second day. First day it was fantastic. It was very successful. It challenged us to rethink education. It opened our minds to the possibilities of AI and technology, not as distant concepts, but as present-day tools. We have the live demonstrations as tools reshaping how we teach and how students learn. So today we built on that momentum of yesterday, and day 2 is about going deeper, how we can transform all these ideas now into action, how we can inspire our audience, and how we can explore practical strategies, more real-world applications, more forward-thinking approaches from our different countries. Here we have Peru, we have UAE, India, Philippines. So I will move on with second panelist today, Dr. Gloria Okpara from Nigeria. Dr. Gloria is a skilled computer science educator, researcher, and global speaker who is deeply passionate about technology, digital innovation, and advancing quality education through impactful knowledge sharing and capacity building. Her dedication to using technology as a tool for educational transformation continues to inspire both educators and learners across different learning environments. So through her work in computer science and digital education, she has remained committed to promoting innovation, accessibility, and excellence in teaching and learning. Dr. Gloria, thank you for being here. Dr. Gloria is a strong pillar of a work for education. She's a member since the beginning and supports a lot all the session planned by Dr. Gloria, and she always helps and supports in everything. So the question is, in what ways can AI support inclusive education and help address diverse learning needs among students? Dr. Gloria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Rania. Good evening, everyone, CEO, and everyone present. Thank you for this privilege. In what ways can AI support? AI support is inexhaustive. Every speaker, especially the professor today, mentioned several importance of AI, but here we are bringing it down to consider different learning needs. I would like to start by saying there is a typical quality that teachers need in order to adopt the use of AI. First of all, we must embrace empathy. When we have that empathy, we will now mix it with AI in order to meet the needs of our learners, especially those with special needs. So one form it can be achieved is personalized learning path. A teacher, an educator who has 20 learners in a class shouldn't use the same method. First of all, empathy will enable you identify the needs of those learners and see how you can now incorporate different learning needs in learning topic and way to do it. First, the pace of the learner should be considered. No matter the content, you must consider the pace, knowing that not all learners will learn at the same pace. Learners' abilities, you have to get material to suit the abilities of those learners. And that's complex. Just like Dr. Rania said, different companies for different levels of education is a good one to include everybody. Student interest, you have to know your children very well to know the interest. Not one size fits all, not these days, because we have learning tools that can help us. Let's look at incremental support or approach for the one struggling. When we have what in my school, we have what we call additional tasks. For those who are ahead of others, you teach everyone, engage those ones, go back to struggling one and help them. All these can be. We have one that is called G-Mind. You can use it to develop lesson plan that will help you to achieve it with minimal time. The second point is assistive technology. Why are we using the term assistive technology? They are there to assist them. If we are truly talking about inclusive education, how inclusive are our classes? For those who have visual impairment, hearing impairment, or anything, how inclusive are they in our classrooms? So we have the text to speech that can help the visual learner, the speech to text for those with hearing impairment, then the real-time captions for those who have no way to write very well. Reading tools for those with dyslexia. So that's why educators should be able to identify those learning needs. By the time a parent with a child who has any form of disability can be part of learners who have disability, we can say truly we are promoting what? Inclusive education. So we have examples, the Google Live Transcribe and all that. So another way is language support. Language support. Dr. David mentioned that he's looking at his screen, he sees different languages, different countries speak the same way, but by the grace of his making of through transcription, as the meeting started, you just see that the meeting is being transcribed. All those measures are put in place in order to come. So AI can reduce the language barriers for students in order for them to focus on understanding concepts instead of struggling with language. Intelligent tutoring system, we have to look at this. Why? A good example is Khan Academy. It can assist in bridging learning gaps. Let's know all these tools as educators so that we can carry them back to our classrooms. Any identification of the learning needs, like I said earlier on, you have to understand your learners, prepare very well. I have what I wrote here as 5 P's. Proper preparation, prevent poor performance. Proper preparation, understanding of your learners will help prepare well for them, and the tools are everywhere for us to use. Just go online, they are there. So how do we analyze students' performance? How do we do that? It's another one that we need. Early identification will help us. Flexible content formats. Do we need to convert images to text? or converted to images, we will know what to do if we fully understand the nature of our learners in the class, but it is possible. Visual aids for those who cannot comprehend easily, those who we should get tools that will suit them. Now, everyone, just like Dr. David rightly said even now, everyone is talking about AI. There was a time we were talking about animation. These are videos to catch attention. Beyond AI, what next? Ahead of synthetic intelligence. Let's look towards that. Another form, AI can present board confidence. By the time you are making learner to learn at his or her pace, showing the learner the tools she can use, it will be confidence and will not shy away from learning from you. Growth in continuous feedback. Of course, we should know that feedback cannot be the same for everyone. Some want to hear it, good, but do it this way. Some will not want you to say it, they will write. Using my learners as example, the year 12 learners, they just wrote their UTME. Comes to the class, what's your score? Some will say, I will see you later. You should be able to understand the learner difference and attend to such one in terms of feedback. Now, AI is there to support education by learning and learning to be accessible, personalized, and responsive. It's not here to replace anyone, but to promote us beyond measures. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Gloria. Definitely a proper preparation that you mentioned, because we may have many tools, but if we're not prepared to use them for the right purpose and the right time of our learning process, teaching process, this won't have anticipated results. So AI can actually make education more inclusive by making learning more adaptable, of course, more accessible, more responsive, but I think it works best as a tool in the hands of skilled educators, very well prepared, as you said. And the biggest gains come when the technology is paired with always thoughtful pedagogy, equity, focused policies, and proper teacher training, but only it is used thoughtfully, because it's not a magic mix for inequality. And poorly designed systems can actually reinforce gaps finally. So when AI is implemented well, it can help teachers respond to a wide range of learning needs in ways that they were previously very hard to scale. So definitely is a tool for inclusive education. Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. Thank you for joining us today. And happy to see you again in other sessions. Dr. Gloria, the floor is yours. You're muted, you're muted.
So sorry about that. I didn't know. Okay. It's now a great honor to introduce our third panelist for today, Ambassador Nahid Raza. Ambassador Nahid Raza is a distinguished principal, global education advocate, and international speaker dedicated to advancing quality education, promoting educational equity, and inspiring positive change through global collaboration and leadership. Through his work in educational leadership and international advocacy, he continues to champion inclusive learning environments, professional excellence, and meaningful transformation in schools and institutions across the world. His passion for education, equity, and responsible leadership makes his voice especially important in today's conversation around artificial intelligence and the future of education. Today, we are privileged to have him share his thoughts on this crucial question: what ethical boundaries and professional responsibilities should educators maintain when integrating AI into teaching and assessment? Dr. Nahid, the floor is yours. Over to you.
Today, it is not merely webinar, it is celebration. Celebration of celebrated speakers. My sincere gratitude to our leader, CEO, founder, Gloria ma'am, to give us repeated opportunities to utilize this platform for understanding educational landscape at global level. My sincere gratitude at the same time to Rania ma'am, David sir, Yalla ma'am, Nallam sir, Kamal Lohani sir, Mariam ma'am, and all the outstanding speakers who are generally interacting with each other. It is very outstanding question, ma'am. Greetings to all from India. A dream deferred. No more educators. Rise to the AI horizon. My fellow educators, guardians of the mind, architects of tomorrow, hear me today. We stand at the dawn of digital promised land, where artificial intelligence beacons like a mighty river, promising to flood our classrooms with knowledge vast as the oceans. AI chatters wisdom in seconds, crafts lesson like lightning from the heavens, and assesses mind with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. But I say to you, not by machine alone shall we teach, not by algorithm shall we forge the soul of a child. We must rise with hearts ablaze and consciences unyielding to draw the sacred line, ethical boundaries firm as the rock of Gibraltar. Oh, educators of America, of India, of every nation under the sun, we have marched through the wilderness of chalkboards and rote memorization. We have crossed the Jordan of outdated textbooks into this AI frontier. But beware, for in this land of silicon and code, temptation lurks like a serpent in the garden of AI. AI whispers, let me write your essays, grade your papers, even dream your dreams. And some vary from the burdens of our crowded classroom. Lean in too close. Let the machine supplant the master teacher. They trade the fire of human judgment for the cold calculus of code. I have a dream today, a dream that no child will be graded by a ghost in the machine, that no lesson will be parroted without the pulse of a passionate soul. Let us first confront the ethical boundaries, those unbreakable walls we must build. Integrity demands it. When AI generates information for teaching, we cannot clock it in our own voices without confession. To do so is plagiarism of the spirit, a theft from the trust of our students. We must declare this insight came from the machine's mind, but wisdom flows from mine. Ethical boundaries cry out. Transparency. As the great philosopher Immanuel Kant once thundered, act only according to that maxim where you can. At the same time, will that it should become a universal law. Let AI be a tool, not a masquerade. And what of assessment? Oh, the sanctity of grade. AI can scan essays, quiz answers, even predict potential. But professional responsibility forbids us from surrendering this power. We are not mere graders, we are mentors, mirrors reflecting growth, ethical boundaries, command, human oversight. No algorithm can peer into the struggle of a child's soul, the late nights, wrestling doubts, the breakthroughs born of grit. To let AI assess alone is to judge a book by its digital cover, ignoring the human story within. I implore you, use AI to lighten the load, the flag patterns of cheating or mastery, but always, always let the final verdict rest in human hands, tempered by compassion and fairness. Consider the boundary of equity, the great leveler of educational Jericho. AI promises personalization, a lesson for every learner space, yet it falters on the fault lines of bias. Trained on data, stand by society's sin, it may favor the privileged voice, marginalize the accents of poor, the rural child in Saharanpur, or the inner city dreamer of Atlanta. Professional responsibility rises like a trumpet. Audit the AI, challenge its judgments as educators and ethicists. Under Walters warns algorithms are opinions embedded in code. We must scrub these tools of prejudice, diversify their data streams, ensure no child is left behind in the shadow of biased bytes. Now, let us speak of privacy, that fragile fortress of the mind. AI hunger for data. Every click, every query, every child's unique footprints. We safeguard student records as fiercely as mother guards her baby. Consent must reign supreme. Data must be anonymized, deleted when done. Ethical boundaries prohibit the commodification of young minds for corporate gain. In the words of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy. Let not AI erode this site in our zeal for efficiency. My brothers and sisters in education, these are not merely guidelines, they are the gospels when integrated AI into teaching. Maintain the boundaries of authenticity. Curate, don't copy. Inspire, don't imitate. In assessment, uphold responsibility of augmentation. AI assists, humanity decides. And across all, weave in the thread of continuous learning. Train ourselves, our colleagues, our institution to wield this tool with wisdom, not whimsy. Yet, temptation tests us still. Some cry, I will replace us. Fear not, it cannot love, it cannot weep with a failing student, cannot ignite the spark of genius with a story from the heart. Our responsibility to evolve, blend AI's speed with soul's depth. Teach a student not just to prompt the machine, but to question it, to ethicize it, to humanize it. Prepare them for a world where AI amplifies, but humanity leads. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you very much. Martin Luther King of India. Thank you for that thoughtful and deeply important response that you've just given. Your insight shows that while AI offers great possibilities, ethical responsibility must remain at the center of every human educational decision. Your emphasis on fairness, transparency, data privacy, academic integrity, and professional accountability highlights the critical role educators play in ensuring that technology serves learners responsibly. You have clearly shown us that the true challenge is not simply adopting AI, but using it with wisdom, integrity, and strong commitment to human values. And indeed, educators must remain guardians of trust, ensuring that innovation never compromises equity, authenticity, or the dignity of the learning process. So your contribution has added great depth to this panel discussion, and we sincerely appreciate your perspective. Thank you very much. And once again, I want to hand over to Dr. Rania. Over to you, Dr. Rania.
Thank you, Dr. Naida.
That was
this
awesome.
very inspiring, yes, very inspiring presentation. You kept us breathless. So let's move now to Philippines. Philippines with our fourth panelist, Dr. Leoncio Calderon, too. He's the co-owner and co-founder of Sunmark Integrated School Incorporated, an accomplished educator, administrator, global speaker committed to academic excellence, educational leadership, and the development of holistic learning communities. Through his leadership in education, he has remained dedicated to creating learning environments that not only promote academic success, but also nurture character, innovation, and lifelong growth among students. So, Dr. Leoncio, welcome. And I will ask you, how can schools and educators effectively prepare students for success in an AI-driven economy and rapidly changing workforce? So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Rania, Dr. Gloria, and our respective speakers here. After a fiery oratorical speech from Dr. Nahid, how could I compete with him? With his persuasive and almost forceful and persuasive, actually, rendition of how AI should be used as a tool. Good day to everyone. When we talk about preparing students for an AI-driven economy, the first thing we need to ask is simple. What kind of learners do we want to develop? In my school at St. Mark Integrated School in the Philippines, we believe that every child is capable, competent, and unique. So our goal is not just to teach students how to use technology. Our goal is to guide them to think, decide, and act with purpose, whether technology is present or not. AI is powerful. It can answer questions, generate ideas, and even simulate human thinking. But there is one thing it cannot replace: a learner who knows how to think independently, reflect, and make responsible choices. So, how do we prepare our students? First, we focus on thinking, not just tools. Yesterday, I heard my countryman mention Dr. Arnel Miraflor about elevating thinking. And I thank you for that, Dr. Arnel Miraflor, if you were here. So instead of asking, can students use AI? We ask, can students question AI? Can they check if information is accurate? Can they explain ideas in their own words? Can they apply what they learned to real life situations? For example, in our classes, students are not just given answers. Teachers ask, why do you think that is correct? Can you explain your reasoning? Can you connect this to your daily life? This builds confidence and clarity, skills that no machine can replace. Second, we develop flexible, independent learners. In my school, we offer home plus or blended learning and on-site school programs. Each one allows students to manage their time, complete tasks, and take responsibility for their learning. Why is this important? The future workplace is not fixed. It changes. It demands people who can adapt, learn new skills, and work with different systems. So, when a student learns how to manage their schedule, meet deadlines, and complete outputs with integrity, that student is already preparing for the real world. Third, we strengthen values and character. AI can generate content fast, but it cannot teach honesty. It cannot teach compassion. It cannot teach integrity. At Smith, these are not just words, they are practiced daily. Remind our students, if you use AI, use it responsibly. If you submit work, it must reflect your own understanding. If you collaborate, respect others. In an AI driven world, values will guide decisions. Without values, technology can be misused. Fourth, we make learning relevant and meaningful. Students today need to see the connection between lessons and real life. For example, instead of just teaching a concept, teachers can ask, how can this help you solve a real problem? Or how can you use this in your home or community? This approach develops problem solvers, not just test takers. Finally, we remind ourselves of this. Education is not about competing with AI. Education is about developing humans who can use AI wisely. At St. Mark Integrated School, we do not aim to produce students who rely on technology. We aim to develop learners who can read, think, lead, and serve, whether with or without it. Because in the end, the future will not belong to those who know the most tools. It will belong to those who know how to think, how to adapt, and how to act with integrity. Thank you and mabuhay from the Philippines. I'm Dr. Nolly Calderon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nolly. I keep what you said, that learners need to think independently, and this has to do with how we can help build strong human skills. These are harder to automate. Your school, as you mentioned, prioritizes critical thinking and, of course, problem framing. The role of values that you mentioned is very important. Without the human values, these tools will be misused, as you mentioned. Emphasize real-world learning, so connected learning with society. And, of course, the bottom line is students don't need to compete against AI. As you mentioned, they need to learn how to work with it intelligently, ethically, and the most prepared students will be those who combine curiosity plus adaptability, ethical judgment, and technological literacy fluency. Thank you very much, Dr. Nolly. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, Dr. Rania.
And happy to see you in another session also. Thank you. Thank you. The floor is yours, Dr. Gloria.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nolly, for that amazing presentation. That was awesome. Thank you very much. And now I move over to the next panelist, Ambassador Miriam Salihu Suleiman. Ambassador Miriam Salihu Suleiman is the founder of MindSpark Consult, a global education advocate and an inspiring speaker dedicated to advancing innovative learning, educational development, and empowering communities through knowledge sharing and capacity building. Through her work, she continues to champion transformative education, leadership development, and sustainable impact by helping individuals and institutions embrace innovation and purposeful growth. Her passion for educational advancement and community empowerment makes her voice especially relevant in today's discussion on the future of teaching and learning. Today, we are privileged to have her share her thoughts on this important topic, question rather. So her question today is, what essential skills and competencies will define the teacher of the future in an AI-driven world? Over to you, Ambassador Miriam.
Thank you very much for this thought-provoking question. Let me begin by saying how truly grateful I am to be in the midst of such distinguished speakers and panelists from across the globe. It is both an honor and a privilege to share this space, learn from your insights, and contribute to this important conversation on the future of education. When we talk about the teacher of the future in an AI-driven world, I often say this: technology will change many things, but it will not remove the need for a great teacher. It will only redefine it. The future teacher will not simply be a dispenser of knowledge. They will be a designer of learning experiences, a guide, a mentor, and a compass in a world overflowing with information. And that is why I keep saying it, that AI is not here to replace anybody, but people using AI will replace others. Let me highlight a few essential skills and competencies with relatable examples that will on AI and educational technology. First, digital and AI literacy. Today, students can use AI to solve problems, generate essays, and explain concepts instantly. So the question is no longer, Can they answer? Can they get the answer? The real question is, do they understand the answer? For example, in a classroom, instead of restricting the use of AI, guide students to use it more meaningfully. A pupil might generate a story using AI, but then ask, can you improve that story? What part of it feels unrealistic? Can you rewrite it in your own words? This shifts learning from passive use to active thinking. And that is the role of the future teacher. Secondly, critical thinking and adaptability. We are no longer preparing students for a predictable future. Many careers they will enter do not exist yet. They are still yet to come, those careers. So teaching must shift from what to think to how to think. Even with young learners, I've noticed that some pupils can recite perfectly, but struggle when the question is slightly changed. That tells us memorization is not enough. Future teachers must constantly ask, can my students apply knowledge in new situations? Can they solve problems independently? And importantly, teachers themselves must be adaptable, willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn as the world evolves. Third, and very importantly, emotional intelligence and human connection. AI can explain concepts, but it cannot replace empathy. It cannot sense when a child is discouraged or struggling emotionally. I once worked with a child who could write well, but could not read or identify letter sounds. Technology alone could not solve that. What made the difference was patience, encouragement, and consistent emotional support. That is the unique value of a teacher. As AI becomes more present, the human side of teaching becomes even more essential, not less. Fourthly, personalization and learner-centered teaching. Every classroom is diverse. Some learners are fast. Some need more time. Some are capable but easily distracted. Some are willing but require extra support. The future teacher must move from teaching the class to teaching the individual child. For example, I've seen significant improvement in pupils simply by adjusting instruction, breaking tasks into smaller steps, using visuals, or providing targeted reinforcements. AI can support differentiation, but it is the teacher who understands the child deeply. Fifth, ethical awareness and responsible use of technology. Students today can easily generate work without understanding it. So we must guide them beyond the usage to responsibility. Instead of only asking, did you do it yourself? We should ask them, do you understand it? Can you explain it? Can you think beyond it? We are raising not just learners, but responsible digital citizens. Finally, collaboration and global competence. The classroom is no longer limited to four walls. Students are part of a global learning community. So teachers must equip them with communicating effectively, collaborating across cultures, and solving real-world problems. Even simple classroom activities like group work, peer discussions, and project-based learning help build these skills early in children. In conclusion, the teacher of the future is not competing with AI. The teacher is elevated by it. AI can provide information, but teachers provide meaning. AI can give answers, but teachers build understanding. AI can automate processes, but teachers inspire growth, confidence, and purpose. If we embrace this shift, we will not raise students who depend on technology. We will raise students who can think critically, act responsibly, and lead confidently in an intelligent world. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. That was awesome, Ambassador Miriam, for that insightful and inspiring response. Your perspective has beautifully highlighted that the teacher of the future is not defined by technology alone, but by the ability to combine innovation with empathy, adaptability, leadership, and continuous learning. I love your quotes about teaching must shift from what to think to how to think. And this is really the fact. Your emphasis on emotional intelligence, digital competence, critical thinking, creativity, and willingness to evolve remind us that educators must remain lifelong learners in order to effectively guide future-ready learners. You have shown us that while AI can support teaching, it is the human qualities of mentorship, compassion, ethical judgment, and purposeful leadership that will continue to define truly impactful educators. Indeed, the teacher of the future must be both technologically confident and deeply committed to human connection and transformational learning. Thank you for that enriching discussion and your insight. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I hereby move over to Dr. Rania. The floor is yours, Dr. Rania.
Thank you, Dr. Gloria. And we will move with our next panelist, Dr. Ruben Garcia from Peru. Professor Dr. Ruben Garcia is the CEO and founder of Assertive Leadership College, a distinguished educator and leadership expert committed to empowering individuals through transformative education, assertive leadership, and global professional development. Through his work in leadership development and education, he continues to inspire educators, professionals, institutions to embrace excellence, purposeful leadership, and lifelong growth in an ever-changing world. His dedication to empower people through knowledge and assertive leadership makes his perspective especially valuable in today's conversation on the future of education. So, Dr. Ruben Garcia, welcome. I think it's the first time on this global platform. It's a great honor to have you. And how can teachers remain relevant, adaptable, impactful in a rapidly evolving digital learning environment? The floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Imagine this. Within a few years, students may be learning with AI tutors, collaborating in virtual reality, and submitting work that no algorithm can fully grade because it does not accurately measure empathy, creativity, and judgment. The question is not, will teachers be replaced? But what kind of teacher will thrive in that AI world? I am strongly convinced that teachers remain relevant, adaptable, and impactful by reinventing their role around the following 5 shifts. The first shift, from content deliverer to learning designer. In a digital world, information is abundant. What is scarce is guided learning. Search engines, AI, and video platforms can deliver lectures faster and slicker than any human. What they cannot do is design a coherent, human-centered learning journey for a particular group of students. Staying relevant means shifting identity. My value is not that I cover chapter 3. My value is that I architect experiences that help diverse learners make sense of chapter 3. That might look like using video or AI tools for explanations while you focus lifetime